at Vulcan during the winter, the only real difference is it gets a bit quieter band-wise, but it's pretty cold because it's a brick building. The heat, the cold just sticks to the building kind of thing. So it's ice cold during the winter. Mainly just in the office and around the building, but in the rooms it isn't too bad because you've got all the carpeting on the walls and stuff. And when the bands are playing, it kind of warms up and everything.
Sometimes in the middle of winter it's an absolute nightmare when we're setting up. It's just freezing. Everyone's got the biggest coat on. The heaters in the room don't always work, which means it's probably about -2, and you can see your own breath even though you're indoors. You're setting up your things, everyone's a little bit grizzly unless the heater's on, and then it's absolutely roasting within about 10 minutes. As soon as you start practicing, you're just sweating again.
We practice in Vulcan all year round, so we tend to see sort of the full picture of what goes on in that scenario. So if we go in the summer and it's kind of, you roll up in the in the middle of the day and everyone's in a good mood and you go in, but then compared to the winter when you roll up and it's snowing or it's sleeting or something and you've got to get your gear out of the car and load in and carry it up the stairs into a freezing room, it doesn't exactly put you in the most sort of creative moods, I would say. So it's not always a good influence on like kind of the teamwork of it, because everyone's just is a bit bitchy and doesn't really want to work with each other.
This winter was pretty cold. It was probably the worst one we've had so far. And at one point it was -1 outside and -2 inside the building because the bricks just hold the cold in. But then also in the summer as well, it's boiling inside the building, so it's one extreme or the other.
The cold affects the drums. The cymbals get absolutely freezing just from being in the back of the car on the way down. As soon as we're in there, it doesn't warm up at all. I've cracked quite a lot of cymbals just from them being so cold, and then they go straight into being hit pretty hard. So it's costing me a lot of money.
Right. When it actually comes down to sort of playing within Vulcan, instruments have a lot of sort of problems with temperature. Because obviously when things cool down or heat up, they change size, and when you're talking about a guitar, it's got really tight strings in it, that affects your tuning quite a lot. So you find that it's a constant nightmare. You play a single song or even half a song sometimes and you're straight down onto your pedals tuning your guitar, or Steve's having trouble with his cymbals or his drums or something. It's just an absolute nightmare. But again, you've just got to sort of get on with these things and just see what you can make from what could be quite a bad situation. But when you're there with sort of people who have the same sort of goals as you just like get on with it.
But I think most bands who come here are looking to get signed.
Yeah.
And to be brutally honest, it's pretty rare that anyone does because it's so competitive. We've had maybe 2 or 3 bands who come here who've got signed and started to make it big. But it is very rare to sort of 2%, 1% of what bands come here will get signed. But you've got to keep trying, and it's a case of how much effort you put into it. I think how much time you put into it and how much money you want to put into it as well. But it can be done. It can be done.
Trying to throw new ideas around, but nobody really wants to hear it. There's just the drive while you're in Vulcan. You've got the time to be there, the drive to get a new song out of the way, and that just keeps you kind of powering through the cold.